Hello, learning journey. Welcome to another day, another support day. We're so glad to be with you today. Hey, Lee, welcome.
Hey Lynn, how are you?
I'm doing good. We're all trying to stay cool. This summer is really what you call heating up. So many people are complaining about it's hot. But you know what? While you're at home and you have air conditioning, most of you, I want you to think about some of your loved ones because some of those facilities, cell blocks do not have air conditioning. They're
Right.
using gigantic fans to
Mm.
cool them. So I want you to think about when that heat index, I think in North Carolina was 109 degrees. The
Wow,
heat index 110. So they don't have air conditioning. So these are the little things that we want to just, give thanks for,
that's
that
right.
we are there. This is teaching them that resilience as well, and to toughen them up. And they're missing those benefits of being at home. We know that. So Lee, you're doing good. Is it hot there?
It's hot here. We're in the 90s. I think it might be about 95, 96 right now here in South Carolina. It's hot. You got to stay inside, like you say, under some air and appreciate what you have because, like you say, there's someone else that's going through something that's not what you're going through.
Exactly. We want to get right into what we're doing today. And remember, this is our lessons learned Inc. We are a nonprofit 501(c) organization, and we are geared towards helping the loved ones slash caregivers of those incarcerated or recently arrested. Where you gonna go? What you gonna do? Well, we are the connectors. We connect you with everything you need for this journey. And this is a journey like none other. Believe me, none other. And I think with what is going on now with ICE, people are being snatched, and what are the loved ones to do? Where do they go? These are the things that are happening in our society. it,
Mhm.
it's it's an awful time for people, for the loved ones of those incarcerated.
True.
So there are some things that we want to touch on. Our guest last week, 2 weeks, we've been getting so many comments about empathy and empathizing with her, and the different things that were going on. But she touched on something about cell phones. She touched on social media and things of that nature. So Lee and I thought it was important that we touch on this because your cell phone and your social media posts can be powerful evidence against you if you're arrested. Law enforcement increasingly uses digital data to investigate, prosecute, and build cases. And you wonder, how do they do that? Well, you know what? How your cell phone can be used against you. And this is for your loved ones. The call and text history. It's right there. Don't tell me you have Apple that can't be broken into. Yes, it can. Matter of fact, they just had a breach today with Apple. Okay. Apple and Google, and it's constant. So the call and text history can show you were in contact and when, who you were with, where you were, and when. It's used to establish relationships, motives, or audits. So I want you to realize that. The next one, how about location data, Lee? What do you think about location data?
Absolutely. Geolocation can put you in places. They can pick up right where you were at any specific time. And as Lynn said, it's private until it's public. And it's public the minute you hit that button, it's no longer private anymore. It's public, and they can pull all of that in, locate text messages, even voicemail. They can even pick up all of that. And if you think that they can't do it right away or so, they can get a warrant and
Yes,
pull it and get all the other information that they need to use against you. And
exactly.
last time, um, Sister Hall Booker, she spoke in reference to the um, what is she speaking in reference to? The authenticity, the demonstration of that, and how it was questionable. And she was able to use some of that to keep pounding her attorney so that they would not use what they were. trying to use against her loved one. They had text messages and stuff, and they were trying to pin some things on him that she saw, made sure that it wasn't done. So because it wasn't real, wasn't what was what they thought it to be, or not what they thought it to be, or what they wanted it to be, so that they could use against them. So we are the caregivers for loved ones that are arrested and incarcerated. They are depending on us to be there to advocate for them in ways that they aren't to do from that side. So we have to be there to make sure these things are put right where they're supposed to be and cannot be used against them. So be very careful. The young people these days they have a different language that they're using. Some of it I can't read or know what it is and stuff, but that's some very same thing that they will use against you when it comes to the times of
Yes,
incarceration.
it is. Yes. And your GPS, the GPS and cell tower data, it is right there. And that can place you at a scene of crime or whatever, things like that. There are other apps like Google Maps and Apple's location services that can store your data. And so you wanna make sure that you tell your loved ones to, be careful about what they text, what they, not to hide anything, but just know it can be used against you if something is to go down. There's also photos and videos. Images on your phone may be used to prove possession of illegal items, gang affiliations, weapons, drugs, and things of that nature. And every state has different laws. So please look at the laws, research them for your state. Google is a way to research. If you're not sure, ask an attorney. Let your attorney show you and tell you. Metadata is photos, time, date, location. That can also be used as evidence. So, you want to make sure. And she talked about that cell phone data, and it stuck with Lee and I. We had several questions around it. So, we wanted to bring it to you. Also, your browser and your search history. Uh huh. Even if you clear it, it can be brought back up.
Mhm.
Search terms, how to hide a body. If you look at a crime scene investigation on TV and stuff like that, what do they confiscate? They go on the social media accounts. They go on their computers and go into their computers and look at their search history and see what they were viewing, such as how to make a bomb and
Mhm.
things of that nature. And that can demonstrate a premonition, premeditated, and that is important. And visited websites also show that there was patterns of planning. So
Mhm.
remember that. How about app usage, Lee?
Oh yeah, when you look in, you think in terms of WhatsApp, the Telegram, this all show ways of communicating that will be able to pull up, use against you. You look at things about that you're bragging about different things or so. Uh, so often I've seen or heard of people with these showing a lot of or guns or so on their um, Facebook pages and their social media pages. I don't understand why we need to have those things, but our young people have those things and they can use those things against them to prove guilt or admission of guilt. And that may not be what you're putting up there for, but they're looking to make their job easy in any way that they can. So they'll use things against you. Be very careful. Be very careful.
Exactly. And then when we look at social media posts, you know, I want to go back to the app usage. Even though you delete the message, it can still be brought up again.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that people are aware of that. So when you go to self incrimination, you go to the social media posts and self incrimination, bragging about illegal acts. Man, I just robbed that store. A girl, I just hit this one off, is considered an admission of guilt. And it could be used against you in the court of law. I'm not sure, but I said it could. So don't go out and say Lynn said no. I said it could. Check with an attorney. We are just giving you this information. The validity of the information can be confirmed by an attorney. Even jokes or memes can be taken seriously if they suggest criminal intent. And I know, gang members send certain things, or it could be a song, and they'll look at that song as, okay, well, this was a motivator. It instigated this, so certain things like that, we want you to be careful. And then posting photos or videos, with weapons, posting a video or a picture with drugs or stolen goods, they can be used as evidence of possession with intent,
Right.
possession or intent. Videos showing criminal acts can lead directly to charges. So, things like that, please make sure, these cell phones can be more damaging than anything. Lee, how about the geotagging and timestamps?
Well, Lynn, before we go to that, I just wanted to, you were speaking in reference to posting those things. And it made me think in terms of the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment. And I just wanted to give a little bit of we have in reference to that. And it tells me that the Fourth Amendment recognizes the right of the people to be secure in their person, their houses, their papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures. Cell phone data falls under the Fourth Amendment protection. But if you share your information, you lose that protection. And to be very clear, any cell phone data you give to another person or another party is not protected. Therefore, law enforcement can use your social media posts, geolocation histories, and your ISP internet search histories to persecute you for a while you have to obtain a search warrant to access this information that's stored on your internet, they can definitely use that against you.
Wonderful. That's something. That's something. See, it's so much information that you don't know about. That's what we come on here. We're
Mhm.
not doing this for us. We're doing it for you. We want to disseminate this information. We perish for lack of knowledge. So we want to bring this knowledge to you. Got your kids that have just graduated. You
Mhm.
buying all this college stuff for them to go away to college and things. Sit down with them. Let them know about their cell phone. Let them know about these different things. This is going to help them, but bottom line, it's going to help you.
Mhm.
It's going to help you. So that is important. The geotaping and timestamps, and thank you for that, Lee. That was great information about the amendments. Posts with location data can contradict alibis or place you at a crime scene. Timestamps can establish a timeline of events. Okay, well, at 12 p.m., this one was doing this, but at 2, this happened, and there was a lull from 12 to, you know, they look at that timeline. I watched my son do that before, him being law enforcement, and he showed me how the timelines work and different things, and that is important to know. Also, the associations, as we said before, who you with, okay, who you hanging out with, who your friends, who's sitting around your campfire is important.
Right.
Friends, followers, tagged individuals, and interactions can connect you to known criminals or suspects. I'm gonna say that again. Friends, followers, tagged individuals, and interactions can connect you to known criminal or suspects. Used to prove gang affiliation or criminal conspiracy. These are all things. Please be careful. Young folks, not even young folks, older people.
That's right.
This, if it applies, you know what? Use this and keep this if it applies to you. And this is important. Also, private messages. Platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. There's Lemonade. There's uh, uh, so many TikTok. There's so many things. Private messages, which law enforcement can request with a warrant or subpoena. Messages can reveal planning, coordination, or confessions. Would you like to touch on that one, Lee?
It
Any further?
and even if you're using it in one particular way, their job is to use that against you so
Yes.
that make their job easier. The thing with this is this information we can say it over and over, and repeat it. It's the same thing, but it means so much that we just have to keep saying it over and over again. And we might even say it again, but here again, it was very important that we do this because of what we had last time or so. But yeah, it's important. It gives you they will use it against you. Oh well, look at this. We see that they planned this. Yes, this was coordinated. This one. This is a confession. They said I caught a body. You may be meaning one thing, but they use that against you to mean something totally different. And as Lynn said, those friends, those associates or so, trust me, once you get into something and it's a situation of arrest or your friends are going to kind of scatter. They are not going to know you the way that you think that they knew you. They won't be there for you. So be careful who you associate yourself with and in what way that you associate yourself.
Exactly. And then we want to go to legal protection and limits. When we look at legal protection and limits, warrants are required. We tell you about the 4Ds. Warrants are required in the US. Police usually need a search warrant to access phone contents. And that was a live case. So I'm saying usually, okay? So, like I said, check with an attorney. They may still access your social media if your account is public or if someone else, like a friend or victim, gives them access. So
Hmm.
remember, these are all things to help you. These are preventable things. And I just want to put that out there because you might have a loved one on the inside, but you might have a teenager at home and things of that nature. So, you know what? Pass this information along. Also, the Fifth Amendment, as Lee was talking about, you don't have to unlock your phone or provide passwords, protected by the right against self incrimination in many cases. However, courts are divided on whether biometric unlocking, that is the fingerprint, the face ID, is protected. Remember, there are so many new rules coming out now with this AI and things of that nature. So, everything is up and it's a different world we're living in today. It's a different world we're living in. So please be careful. Lee, would you like to talk about the key takeaways?
Um, the calls, text messages, those are going to link you to your co-defendants or your victims. Be careful with that. Your GSP locations, they're going to place you at the scene of a crime or very close to it. Make it that it's going to work against you. Your social media posts, they're going to prove in give them a motive or show incriminating behavior. Very careful. And messages, private, they reveal planning or confession. Be very careful. Every bit of this they're going to use against you in a court of law if need be. And as Glenn said, with your warrants, you say, well, they have to get a warrant, go into myself. In some cases, they do have to get a warrant, and they get the warrant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think that because you feel that they have a warrant, that they won't be able to get this information, or you feel you'll delete some things by the time they get this warrant. They can still act, they can get it. Um, Media or something, technology has advanced so very much and stuff. You just have to be very, very careful to protect yourself. and not give information that will harm in a negative way. And certainly you don't think that this will happen, but in so many cases it has.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And this is just valuable. That is it for this evening. Just valuable information we wanted to share with you. On our next, in 2 weeks, we're going to have Jillian, who's going to be with us, and it's going to talk about her 30 years as the Fishers of Soul director, founder, and how what she does to help the loved ones, what she does to help the incarcerated as they're getting out, and her personal story of her going to pick them up, her getting them out of situations and things of that nature is something you may not want to miss. But you know what? Our thing tonight is be safe. There's so much going on out in this world. Please be safe. Please be safe. Use your GPS. Your
Mhm.
GPS is God's perfect system. He will never lead you astray and will always help you. Please go to our YouTube channel. They are not keeping videos on Facebook anymore. Everything has changed here. So please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel because you might have a friend or somebody you want to, give some information to or refer back to this information. Well, Facebook is not keeping the videos anymore. So I think it's July 1st and they'll be gone. So they stay on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel and you can always get on that channel. Lee, do you have any closing remarks?
I just, I hope we make someone a little bit more aware, elevated them to the place that this information is very important and it can hurt you in the long run. What you put in can come back to haunt you. Other than that, I just want to let them know that we are journey. We are our lessons learned. We're 501c3 nonprofit. We have donations you can make on site. Go to our website. You can read my story. You can read Lynn's story. We're transparent. However, we do respect your privacy as we allow you to share your own. We welcome your testimonies, your suggestions, and we appreciate your comments. And
Yes.
until next time, Lynn,
We'll see you later. Thank you so much for being a part of us. Thank you for allowing us to come into your hearts and your homes. And remember, to the utmost, Jesus saves.